Hello, my beautiful friends. If you are new here, welcome to my channel at Book Affair. My name is Shay. If you are returning, hey girl, hey, hi guy, hey. And we're gonna go ahead and just jump right on in. So as you can tell by the title, I am deciding to go ahead and share with you guys some of the books that I did not finish, okay? I DNF'd it, couldn't even get like perhaps 50% through before I just say, you know what, this book ain't booking it, and so I'm gonna no longer read it. All right, now to be honest, I don't have too many books that I have DNF'd. Honestly, I tried to think of books, any books that is, that I DNF'd between 2024 and 2023. Now it was really hard because immediately there were only a handful of books that came to mind, and then as I thought about it a bit more, another book popped up. So this actually will not be a very long video, but again, I thought it would be fun. It's something different that I have not done on this channel yet, and I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know some of these books that I'm about to name, y'all love them. The girlies love them. The BookTube community love them. If I was on BookTok, I'm pretty sure I would say that the BookTok girlies love them, okay? But Shay just didn't. I wanted to, but I just didn't, y'all. And it was disappointing then, and thinking about it now, it's also disappointing. But you know, it is what it is. Reading subjective. All kind of things and variables goes into whether we like a book, dislike a book, finish a book, or do not finish a book. And unfortunately, these that I'm about to go ahead and jump into, they just didn't do it for me. All right, let me readjust, let me get comfortable. All right, now these books are in no particular order. Let me say that again. These books are in no particular order, but there is one I feel like I have to start off with because I feel like this was a book that I did attempt to read before the others that I do have on this list. And again, the list isn't that long. Also, your girl does not mind DNFing a book. Luckily, I haven't had that many DNFs, but if I don't make it through, it's just like, it's not giving what I needed to give me in that moment. So I'm gonna stop rambling. We're gonna jump on in. Maybe let me stretch out my legs. Y'all probably don't want to see my knee. I'm moisturized. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep these really brief as far as the descriptions of the book. I'm gonna do my very best to give a summary of what the book is supposed to be about. So to go ahead and jump right on in, we're gonna start off with a book that is actually a duology. This specific duology is The Blood Trials. And so book one actually was The Blood Trials, book two, The Blood Gift, and these both are by N.E. Davenport. Now, just to specify, The Blood Trials, absolutely loved it, really loved it. I believe that I read this book, and I cannot remember. I probably read this book in 2023, but I do remember reading this listening to it on my Everend app. Now again, book one, I absolutely enjoyed it. I want to say I loved it, but I can't remember my star rating off the top of my head, and I don't feel like fumbling through my Everend app, especially on this iPad. However, I do recall really enjoying it. Now, just to give a quick synopsis, there is a young black girl. Her name is Akana. She is in this fantasy place. Made up city, right? Can't even think of the name of it because I can't pronounce any of those things. We already know how fantasy is. However, her grandfather dies. She then is placed in these trials. We already know with fantasy there's some type of like high stakes trials, some way something happens to where someone has to prove themselves, right? And so because for one, she's black. Also, I want to say like her background, I don't necessarily want to call it a tribe, but her background is pretty much kind of it's kind of like frowned upon, right? It's not really like favored, so therefore people are already expecting her to fail. However, her grandfather had a really high rank. He was well respected, and also she was taught how to fight in combat and things of that nature. And so just experiencing the blood trials it was really good. Like, it was very captivating. I remember just, again, really enjoying the book without me even like just knowing details. I knew that I enjoyed that book. Now going over to the actual book that I did DNF, unfortunately, it was book 2, which is, again, it's a duology, right? So it is The Blood Gift. All right, so something that it says, after discovering the depth of betrayal, treachery, and violence perpetuated against her, so her as an Akena, and, you know, from the council exposing her illegal blood gift to save her Praetorian squad, that's what we're gonna say, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, Akena becomes a fugitive with a colossal bounty on her head. And so, as we heard, it is illegal to have the blood gift that she has, right? And the reason I thought I would really enjoy this, because again, this was around the time when I was reading Legendborn. And if you read Legendborn, you know. Also, if you guys have ever read Blood Like Magic or Blood Like Fate, you also would know, right? So when it comes to this blood and these powers and things of that nature, especially when you're a black girl in these books, nobody wants you to have those. So therefore, she is like on the run with her friends, and I don't know what happens after that. Y'all, I really don't know how far I got in this book, but I remember being in the book and I was like, okay, it was a bit slower. It was a bit slower. And also I felt like it was very redundant. It was very redundant. And it seemed a bit more complex as well. And we already know fantasy off the top, like there is some level of complexity because these worlds are, you know, are obviously make-believe like any fiction, but you have to do the world building. You have to understand the culture. You have to understand the powers and the magic systems and things of that nature. And I just felt like, you know what, this is too much, and I don't want to make it to the end anymore. But I was disappointed that I did not finish it because I feel like I had so many great hits of black authors with black female characters who had some level of powers about them, and they were so good. And obviously, you know, book 1 I enjoyed much better, but book 2 just did not do it for me. So therefore, the first DNF that I wanted to share with y'all, that granted it didn't happen in 2025 nor 2024, but it still was a book that, you know, I thought I would enjoy. I did. So I wanted to share it with y'all. And so therefore, that is The Blood Gift, book 1 of the books that I did not finish. All right, so moving on now to book 2. Book 2 is a book, I will say, and again, these are in no particular order, but this book, I absolutely just knew it was going to be a 5-star. I absolutely just knew and felt in my bones that it was going to be a book where all of my emotions going to come out, right? Like I was going to feel the love, I was going to cry, I was going to feel the heartache, all those things. And it just didn't do that for me. And I'm still very sad about it to this day, but it is what it is. Okay, so that next book is A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. Is that how you pronounce it? Is it Steiner? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is the book that broke my heart because I had to DNF it. It's a book of 2 people who kind of considers the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It seems like they always had a thing for one another, but for whatever reason, their lives just never aligned to where they were allowed to be together. And I feel like that's if executed well, that is a beautiful trope, right? It's like, okay, you know, for the guy, the girl that got away, or for the woman, the guy that got away, and the circumstances of said things. But when I say that book is the definition of a slow burn, and not in a good way, at least for me. At least for Shade. It could be completely different for y'all, but for me, I was just like, this is too slow of a burn, and now I'm pissed. Now I'm upset, and now I don't even care what happens between you two, whether y'all get together or not. The main characters in this, B is a girl, Jamie is the guy. And if my memory serves me correctly, I want to say they met in high school, B and Jamie. And I really hope I'm not giving any spoilers, right? Like, I'm not trying to give any spoilers. I'm really just trying to go off the dome in my memory right now. But I want to say early on in the book, it's discovered that B and Jamie noticed each other. Jamie, the guy, ended up dating B's best friend, I think. So they never had their chance, right? They then all go off to college. I can't remember if B, which is the girl, the female main character, I can't remember if B's best friend ended up going to that same college. I feel like they were still in contact to some degree. But I do recall B being on campus, B having a boyfriend. Couldn't even tell you that boyfriend's name. But B running into Jamie, because I want to say Jamie actually is the roommate of her boyfriend. So I just was like, baby girl is about to be entangled, okay? And I was ready for it. I was here for the entanglement, okay? There was potentially an entanglement, I remember. But then I think they were just so stuck on the, I want to be with this person, but I can't tell this person I want to be with this person. So therefore, I'm not speaking about said feelings, or I'm being really passive, or I'm just gonna, I don't know, brush a finger across their hand so I can have some type of touch, whatever it was. I was like, I am tired of holding my breath for something to happen, and therefore it's not happening quick enough, so I'm just gonna end it. I'm just gonna end it. This is a book that I do recall doing audio as well, and y'all already know I love me a good audio, but I just was like, no, I'm not about to sit through this. Nothing is happening. Not enough is happening, let me say that. Not enough was happening for me to want to see it through. And then, if I'm not mistaken, the current edition that's out is like the 5th edition, and I want to say it has a extended version of like Jamie's perspective. And I was like, oh, absolutely not. You think I'm about to go through this whole story again? But I didn't even get to make it through the book, so I definitely was never gonna make it to Jamie's perspective. But yeah, it was just too much of a slow burn of people who wanted to be together, but for whatever reason their past just never allowed them to be together. But I honestly feel like if y'all wanted to be together, y'all could have been together. So I felt like it was kind of drug out from what I can remember. But again, I didn't get far enough to see how far they allowed it to drag out. So that is A Love Letter to Whiskey. Really sad that I just did not get what I really wanted out of that book, because I was anticipating for it to be like a 5-star. I really was, and it just didn't do it for me, and that's absolutely okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. Now the next one is a book that also the girlies love. This one is actually a part of a interconnected standalone series, and I'm a bit embarrassed to say it because I really also wanted to enjoy this book because the cover is everything. I actually physically have this book on my shelf, but I just couldn't. This is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I know, are you mad? I know. Yeah, I remember reading this book, and I think it was last year in 2024. I remember reading this book, and I just love the way it started off. It started off where there was emails going back and forth between the female main character and the male main character. And when I say I was eating it up, I absolutely loved it. I love the opening of it because it built like that anticipation of what could happen, right? And so obviously we're done with the email correspondence. We more so get into the daily life of the the main characters. And so it was Lily and Nick. Lily's the female main character and Nick is the male main character in this story. And so how it starts off, there is a book, I believe, that Lily has a copy of. I believe it's kind of like old and tattered, and so I think she kind of went on a search of trying to find either like a new copy or contacting the author to at least get closure of the book. Based on whatever happened in the book, it felt incomplete and she kind of wanted to know what would happen. She ended up emailing the author, which at the time she did not know was Nick, right? They're emailing back and forth. He obviously is using an alias. They're having a good time. They're having a nice kiki. A guy moves into her building. They have, I believe, passed each other and had some interactions, but then eventually I believe he discovers that she's the woman he was corresponding with prior to him moving there, because at that time he actually was not in the United States. He was like on assignment somewhere, I cannot remember. But yeah, and so I was enjoying it. I think I stopped. There was some apartment scene. I think it was like his apartment scene, but I feel like he ended up accidentally spending the night at someone's house, and it was like an awkward thing, and he thought he had like done some adult things with this person and they had not. And so it just was that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember Lily being at like her sister's engagement party or something, like in a coat closet, and I just like, you know what, I'm okay. I am okay. Lily is shy. She's shy. It's 3 sisters. I believe it's the Green sisters, and I actually do, believe it or not, want to give, I believe, the partner plot, which is, I think, is book 2, if I'm not mistaken, which is one of her sisters. I do want to give that one a try. I just couldn't get down with the neighbor favorite. I just no longer cared. Let me say that. I no longer cared. I don't know if it's because I was hanging on to what they had in the email correspondence, and yes, eventually, from what I believe, they would have gotten to that, but I think the in-between, I just was like over it, and I just didn't want to sit around and wait for it. But honestly, I'm going to be honest, out of these books, I feel like this is the only one I will attempt to reread. I will say that. Now, it probably has to be audio because I actually was physically reading this book. So I wonder if I should give the neighbor favorite a try. And y'all let me know, because again, I know the girlies love it. I just couldn't do it, and it made me a bit sad. So, but again, I'm contemplating it because I also want to check out, I believe, the partner plot, which is again one of her sisters. So y'all let me know. If I should give it a try or not. But that's book number 3 that I just was like, I can't do. So that is the neighbor favorite. So we're getting to the last one because I only have 4 books. We're gonna get into the last one, and I already know y'all gonna be a little upset, but it's okay. We've been here before. We know how to handle this like adults, right? Number 4. Don't be mad. Number 4 is A 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I wanted to enjoy that book so bad because the girlies said it was good. And not that y'all have ever steered me wrong, but I just couldn't do it, y'all. I just couldn't do it. Okay. I feel like that's a book I don't even have to explain. But we have Clementine, and I believe the male name's character was pronounced Awan. We're going to say Awan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Clementine and Awan. Now, couldn't even tell you what Clementine does. However, she gets an apartment inherited by her aunt, who was like her person that would travel and do all these wonderful things together. Her aunt used to joke about the apartment being magical. When Clementine was younger, she did not believe it, so she was just thought her aunt was just talking just for the sake of talking. And she ends up finding out that indeed the apartment is like magical in some aspects. And so that's when she meets I-1. I-1 is, I believe, 7 years from her present time. And obviously it scared the mess out of her, right? But they eventually build rapport, they're talking, there's some attraction. And I think I just got tired of them being in that dang apartment. I think that's what it was for me. I got tired of them being in the dang apartment. She obviously had scenes where she would be out of work, hustling and bustling. I feel like it was something in like PR or marketing. I could be wrong, but maybe somewhere in the ballpark. I got tired of, yeah, her being in the apartment. So she would be out to work, having dinner with like friends and colleagues. But the part I stopped at, obviously her and I-1 were in the apartment, because that's, I don't know if that's like considered a portal. I don't even know if I got far enough to explain why the apartment was magical, but I got tired of it. I said, okay, like, okay. And I was okay with it. I was okay with it. That's probably the book I have the least to say about. I was looking forward to it because deep down inside, I'm a lover. I've always been that girl that loves love. So anytime it's a love story, sign me up. But the way it just was done, I was just like, okay. So this is just the setting we're going to be in. And I think I just was tired of that, y'all, to be completely honest. I just no longer cared, I will say that. And so I just DNF'd it. Short, simple, sweet, to the point. I just DNF'd it. And I want to say what attracted me to the story was obviously the magical realism piece of it, but also just knowing like, wow, like I would really want to see how they're going to do this back and forth between like the 7 years, right? Got a taste of it, but I just couldn't see it through. So do I want to read it again? Reattempt to? Actually, no, I don't. I think I'm good. And I know, again, all the girlies will rave about it. I believe it's a novel love story as well by her that the girlies raved about it. But I feel like more people favor the 7 Year Slip than a novel love story. And honestly, I'm not even interested in reading it just because I couldn't get through the 7 Year Slip. I don't know what y'all think. But that's really it. So this is a really short list. There was really only 4 books that I have DNF'd since like being back on my book reading, book loving journey. And again, it started off with The Blood Gift by D.E. Davenport, which is a duology. Book 2, A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. Book 3, The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. And last but not least, book 4, The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. And that's it, y'all. That's it, friends. Y'all have made it to the end. Thank y'all so much for checking out this video. If you made it to the end, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you are aware anytime I post new content. And before y'all go, let me know if you've read any of these books and if you think I should give them a try. Like I said, the only one I feel like I would reattempt is A Neighbor Favor. Everything else I think I'm good on, but y'all let me know. Until the next time, my friends, I'll see y'all later. Bye.